All right, today I'm going to be going over the 4 marketing systems that pretty much every single contracting business doing over $2 million a year has in place. So just dive into it. So for example, $500,000 contractor, a lot of them are reactive. They don't have many systems in place when it comes to their sales and their marketing. And a lot of it is just random growth, right? Reacting to referrals. Whereas most contractors scaling to doing above $2 million a year are proactive. They have predictable growth and not reactive growth, and they have multiple systems running. So what are the 4 systems? Well, number 1 is going to be lead generation, right? Actually getting in the leads, getting in the people into the system in the first place. Why? Because relying on referrals may be very, very unpredictable, right? So a lot of the smaller contractors I talk to, still big, right? But doing 575, 750 a year, are relying on referrals, and it's very, very unpredictable, right? 1 month may be very, very slow, maybe just a couple jobs, and the next month may be very, very busy, right? And because of this, slow seasons can absolutely kill and decimate cash flow, right? And it's not scalable, right? Referrals and word of mouth is not scalable long term because it's just putting the business in a reactive state, right? Reacting to what the market is throwing at you, right? And so when referrals and word of mouth are your only source, your revenue may swing month to month and you want to scale past 500,000, the slow seasons hurt a lot. That's when this can apply to you, right? Now, what is lead generation, right? How do you start actually generating more leads besides just referrals and word of mouth? Well, number 1 is going to be paid traffic through Google and Meta, right? So making sure that you have a paid traffic system in place, an advertising system in place, but you need to make sure that you have professional video creative, which means that the videos and the photos that are going out is what people are going to see. The first thing they see is the video, right? So making sure that you have a high quality video, making sure that when people are submitting their information to you, you're getting whatever questions you need, right? So you're not getting a whole bunch of spam. You're getting people that are in your area that have a specific project in mind, right? You know exactly what their project is, where you're asking them questions like, what type of project is this? Where are you located, etc., right? So you're only talking to people who are pre-qualified, and then you're tracking every single number, how much you're spending on the ads, how much the lead is costing you, how many of them you're actually converting, right? And on the back end of that, you want to have a fast response infrastructure, right? So you can generate all the leads in the world, but if you don't have a system in place where these leads are being contacted very, very quickly and you're tracking them from the moment they come in to the moment you close them, the ads aren't going to do much, right? So ads without a system behind them is just a waste of money, right? And that's the biggest thing. When I talk to people is they say leads is just a really, really bad word, and I don't like using it because so many people get terrible leads when they run ads with no systems in place, right? And so I don't remember why I put this here, but it's a dial because you want to make sure that you are dialing in every single part of the system, right? So without one of these things, without the video creative, without the fast response, one of these things, without one of them, then the entire system's going to fail, right? So you need to make sure that all 4 of these sections, when you're running ads, are dialed in. So that's going to be the number 1 thing, is having a consistent lead generation system outside of referrals and word of mouth. Number 2 is going to be a conversion system. You can generate all the leads in the world, but if you aren't converting them, if they aren't turning into clients, then they don't mean anything, right? And so why is this? Well, as I mentioned, a lot of leads may not turn into jobs. A lot of them may fall through the cracks. They may not be getting responded to in time, which means they went with another company, and it's hard to track what's working. So when leads come in, but they might not close, and you may be losing to faster competitors, and it's hard to track how many of your leads are actually converting into jobs, then this is when this can apply to you. So the solution is under 5 minute auto response. What does this mean? Well, it means that either you have someone that's dedicated to calling the leads in under 5 minutes. If it's not you, then it's someone else. Someone has to be contacting the leads via phone within 5 minutes. On top of that, you want to make sure that you have SMS and emails, so text messages and emails that are going out to the prospects instantly, as soon as they come in, as soon as they submit the form, so that they're getting responded to, even if someone isn't able to get to the phone for a couple of minutes, right? So making sure you respond very, very quickly because people are shopping around. And then you want to make sure that you're having a CRM that's tracking every single lead, right? So tracking every single lead from the moment they come in from your ads to the moment that you close them. And then you want to make sure that you have follow-up sequences in place, right? Because a lot of the times if you contact a lead and they say, hey, I'm not interested right now, like give me a couple months, the market, this, whatever they're saying. Okay, cool. I'll touch base with you in a couple months. What do? Well, in the meantime, you put them into an email sequence or a text messaging sequence that's touching base with them a couple times a week, right? So in between the time, the 2 or 3 months where you haven't spoken to them, your system is speaking to them, right? So you're keeping your company at the top of their mind by automating the follow-up sequences, right? And then making sure that you have a structured sales process. So like I said, you can have a perfect marketing system. You can have someone do all the marketing for you, but if you don't have a sales process, then it's not going to work, right? You're not going to convert these people. If you don't have someone following up with the leads until they say no, then it's not going to work, right? It's one of the most important things is following up with leads until they say no or they close, right? If it's not a no, then it still might close, right? So making sure that you have a structured sales process that is really, really, really important, especially when it comes to leads online, right? And then the last thing is going to be conversion tracking, right? So in the CRM, just making sure that you're tracking how many of the leads are converting. So number 2 is just the conversion system, right? So making sure that your sales process and your sales system are dialed in. Now, number 3, once you close these leads, after you converted them, now you go into the retention phase, right? And so why may this apply to you? Well, you may have a lot of one-time customers. You may be losing repeat business. You might be losing referrals, and you may be leaving 80% of LTV, lifetime value, on the table. Now, these are hidden symptoms, right? And so this happens when customers never come back, or they don't come back too much, and you're not asking for referrals. It's not in a system, right? So if you don't have a system set up where you're automatically asking for referrals, asking for reviews, then you are maybe missing out on repeat business, maybe losing referrals, because it's very, very easy to forget to manually ask for referrals and reviews. And so if you want to increase LTV, which is lifetime value per customer, then this is when this applies to you. Now, how do you fix this, right? How do you make sure that you are getting reviews automatically, which is then going to help you get more clients, and you're getting testimonials, etc., right? You want to make sure that you're increasing the lifetime value of each client. Well, number 1 is systemized review requests, right? So, as I said, you may forget to ask customers for a review because it's probably not at the top of your head. So what you could do is, once you wrap up a job, let's say, for example, you send them off some sort of thank you message, right? Some sort of thank you letter, which includes whatever you want to put in there, right? And one of the things that goes in there is a review request. Hey, we just completed your job. Glad you were really happy with what we did for you, XYZ. If you can, please leave us a review on Google. It really helps. Boom. That way it's off of your plate, right? And then something else that's goes hand in hand with that is the post-job follow-up sequences, right? So you can send them a review request, and then you can send them a testimonial request. You can send them a whole bunch of stuff, right? Weekly, bi-weekly, just staying in touch with them after the job gets done so that you really, really build that relationship is really, really important, right? Because in reality, you do not have the time you might not have the time to contact these people every single week or every couple of days and be on the phone with all your customers like, hey, how are you doing? Whatever. So you want to make sure that you are automating this, because as you scale, the more clients you bring on, the more organized it's going to be, right? So making sure that you keep that relationship over the phone, yes, obviously with them personally, but also making sure that you have that client keeping a relationship with your company through automating the follow-up, right? So sending out emails and text messages after the job is complete. And this includes seasonal stuff, right? So seasonal re-engagement campaigns. Let's say you do a job for someone in the spring and then you have some sort of promotion in the fall, right? And you have all their information. So you send them like, hey, just for our repeat customers, we're doing 20% off XYZ only for our repeat customers. Boom. That's how you increase your LTV per customer. And then you want to make sure, same thing, you're tracking everything, right? So you have a system, an all-in-one system that tracks your leads, tracks your sales, and tracks your LTV per customer. So that is the retention system. And then number 4 is going to be the authority system, right? So these all kind of go in order. Now, authority system, what does this mean? Well, these are the hidden symptoms. You may look like everyone else, right? So when people go to check you out online, they go to your social media, they go to your website, it may look like every other company in the area. And because of this, you may be competing on price and not quality, right? So many of the guys I talk to are like, yeah, I just bid the cheapest jobs. I'm just trying to get all the work I can, whatever. And they're just competing on price, which at the end of the day is going to keep the business afloat, but it may not help you scale to that next level, right? Because competing on quality is sustainable long term, right? That's how you scale, is you compete on quality, not on price. Competing on price only gets you so far. And then a lot of clients shop around, and because of this, it's very, very hard to charge premium prices when you might look like everyone else online. And so if that's what happens, you're undercutting, clients price shop you, you might not have much online and you want to be the obvious choice, that is when this part can apply to you. So what does this mean? Well, number 1 is going to be consistent content on social media. And how do you do this? By showcasing the projects that you do, showcasing the work that you do on all platforms, right? So YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everyone's on all these platforms, right? Even Google, you can do blog posts on Google or your website, right? But posting stuff consistently online to let people know about what you're doing. Hey, we just completed this project over here in Pacific Beach. We just completed this project in La Jolla, apartment complex here, condo there, boom, 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 boom. You're just showcasing all your work, right? And so people are seeing this like, wow, I live in La Jolla down the street from that guy. Wow, that's a cool apartment complex that looks just like the one I own over there. Let me see what he can do for me. Boom. So just making sure that you're letting people know, just showcasing your work, right? Let the work do the talking for you. Let the work that you do the talking for you, and let your clients that you work with, that you give great remodels to, that you do great work for, let them speak for you, right? And the best way to do this is through social media and through video content, right? You're just showing the work. You're showing the clients talking about your work. That's all you're doing. You're just showing it to people in your area, and that's going to attract other people who see that same vision, right? They have the same vision for their kitchen. They want to be like that client who was super, super happy about the work that you did, right? And then this builds a brand over time, right? Especially locally, especially with local companies, local contractors. Brand presence is so important in your local market, right? Especially if you're in somewhere like, let's say, El Cajon, Lakeside. I mean, I'm just naming these smaller areas, right? But it's very, very important that you have a very, very strong local presence. So, for example, if you are a company and you work or you're based out of Chula Vista, for example, you're based out of Chula Vista, but you service all of San Diego, which is great, right? You service Pacific Beach, you service Carlsbad, whatever it is. having a local brand in like Chula Vista is very, very important, right? Because if you're capturing just that part of the market and you become the general contractor in just Chula Vista, well, you're gonna dominate in that local market, right? So making sure that you have a strong brand presence in your local market by running ads, by posting on social media. Hey, Chula Vista homeowners, we just wrapped up this project. Hey, Chula Vista homeowners, my name is Jerry. I'm with XYZ Construction. We're based right here on X Street, right in Chula Vista. Boom. You're gonna dominate your local market if you just focus on building a brand within your local market, right? And some of our clients, they become like local celebrities, right? Because people see their ads all the time as they start doing ads for 5 or 6 months and they're in their local town. People see them pop up again and again and again on Instagram and Facebook. And so when they're walking around town, they go to the coffee shop, people recognize it. They're like, oh, you're with your XYZ Construction. I've seen you online. Yeah, that's me. Boom. You're building a strong brand presence, right? So it's all about being consistent on social media and letting your work and the clients, the work that you do, speak for itself. So this is one of the most important parts. I mean, they're all important, but so those are the 4 parts: leads, getting the business in, converting them, retaining them after they become clients, and then building an authority system to dominate your local market. Now this goes pretty much in a loop, right? You generate the leads, you convert them, you retain them, you build a good relationship with them, and then they see your content, they see you dominating your local market, and then this feeds back because this is creating more clients, right? So people love the work that you do, you retain them, you touch base with them, they see your content, they refer you, boom, and it just goes back. And now you have a even bigger referral market, an even bigger word of mouth market. So I mentioned that because so many contractors that we talk to, they say, oh, I just do referrals, I just do word of mouth. Well, we're not replacing that. We're amplifying it, right? We're amplifying referrals and word of mouth with a system. So all we're doing is just amplifying the work in the market that you already have. So my last example, $500,000 contractors, right? 0 to 1 of these systems. Most of them have none of the systems that I just mentioned in place, which means that they are very reactive typically, and they may be competing on price and just have random growth. And because of this, it is much harder to scale a reactive system where you're just reacting to what the market throws at you. Whereas contractors doing over 2 million typically have all 4 of these systems in place. They have a predictable growth, which means they know exactly how much they need to spend, what they need to do to scale to the next level over the next 6 months, right? We need to spend this much, we need to close this many people, and then we'll be at X goal in 6 months. So that's how you have a predictable system when you're tracking all your numbers, and then they're positioning themselves as the premium company in their area, in their local market. And so most reasons why people don't have these systems in place is they don't know, right? As I mentioned, they just think they need more leads, which is just one part of the equation, right? There's 4 different parts. Generating leads is just one of them. If you don't have a sales process, you're not going to close those leads, right? And then a lot of people will build it themselves. I like to say all the time, it's like building a house by yourself. Can you do it? Could I build a house by myself? Yes. Is it going to take me a very, very long time? Yes. Am I ever going to get it done? Probably not, right? Because I have 5,000 other things going on. So if I try to build a house by myself, I can probably get it done. If I put all my attention towards it and that's all I do for the next 6 months, I can probably get it done, but it's not going to be as good as if I invested in someone else, a contractor, to do the house for me, right? So a lot of people try to build it themselves, but it takes months and then it gets half finished, right? And then the third thing is hiring the wrong agency or hiring the wrong people, right? Contractors, I know they get calls all the time that say, hey, we'll generate you 30 leads or you don't pay. We'll generate you this, and then you figure out they're located in Pakistan or New York or across the country somewhere, right? And so that doesn't work, right? If 90% of the time it does not work. especially if there's ads with no system behind them. So even if you are watching this and you're not in San Diego, you're not in California, I would strongly, highly recommend, if you work with any agency, you hire anyone for your marketing, make sure they are local, right? Make sure they are local. That is probably one of the most important things, right? Unless it's for something like a website, let's say, for example. But if you are bringing someone on to do your marketing on a monthly basis, make sure they are local and they actually know your market and they actually know what they're talking about, right? Because it's very easy to hire an agency online that you pay $500 a month, but they're based in Florida or something, right? And that's just a waste of money. It's the biggest waste of money to hire these agencies that are just based somewhere else that are just very generic, right? So those are the 3 reasons why most people don't have them. And the reason why I say it's not a DIY project is because to build all 4, right, you need a lot, right? It's not just generating leads. You have to have a CRM. You have to have a CRM to track everything. You have to have professional video production to showcase the high quality work that you do, right? In order to make sure that your budget, the money you're spending on the ads, is going in the right place, you have to make sure that you're managing your campaign every single day, right? And then you have to make sure that once these people are coming in, that you actually have automations that are reaching out to these people every couple of days, every couple of weeks, right? To save your time, right? So you build a list of people, you build a list of emails, and then you have 100 people, 1,000 people on an email list, and they're automatically being sent emails, right? So making sure that you have workflows in place and making sure you're tracking, right? Every single number, like I said, every single number. Daily monitoring, kind of the same thing, but making sure that you're monitoring every single day, you're monitoring the leads, monitoring what's going on with your budget, etc. And then it typically takes 90+ days of execution, right? A lot of people want leads in 2 weeks, right? But leads in 2 weeks, it happens, but to have a system that is going to consistently bring you business, consistently bring you high quality clients, it takes time, right? It takes time to understand exactly what works specifically for your business, what people like about your business specifically. And that's why it takes 2 to 3 months to have a system that is completely integrated within your business. Yes, you can start everything in month 1, right? You can start generating leads, closing business in month 1, but by month 2 or 3, the reason why we put 90 days is because that's when everything really starts to fall into place, right? Your team understands the system. Your salespeople understand exactly how to close these leads that are coming directly from Facebook or directly from Google or whatever it is. You're comfortable with the numbers. Now you understand exactly where your budget's going, etc., right? So that's why it takes 2 to 3 months to get comfortable with everything in the system. So I hope this video helps you understand the 4 systems a little bit better. Hopefully there's some stuff, some ideas that you took away from this that you can maybe implement in your business. If you want to have a conversation about how we may be able to help you build a system like this, one of these systems, all these systems within your business, then feel free to book a call at the first link in the description below.